So I'm going to set my screen resolution. I'm going to do this on PowerShell on DHCP2. I'm going to do it up here initially just so everyone can see it, and we'll select everything and then run it. Give me 1 second. Let me see what IP we need to use. So DHCP1 was 0.4, so this one will be 0.5. I'm actually going to do the installation of DHCP as well.
Between the two server addresses is a comma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but this is the name of the software I want to install. That's not the server name, that's the software I want to install. First line sets my IP address up. Second line configures the DNS client. The third line installs the DHCP software, including the management tools. The fourth line renames the computer and joins it to a domain. okay, listen, because it will be there as well, but yeah, it takes time to discover, you know, like, it will down here. So if it doesn't auto-complete, you have a typo to your left. Once everything is typed, you're gonna highlight it all, press play, and it's gonna prompt you for the password. I'm not gonna do it because people are still typing, but you can go ahead and do it. Run it. Not run. You're gonna select everything, then run selected. Not press this. This is run a script. I don't have a script yet. I'm just a series of commands.
So, highlight everything in which one here?
The one with the sheet of paper
Run
behind it.
selection, yeah.
What happened to you?
It will prompt you to say this. You know, no big deal. This, if this command is wrong, 4 is going to fail. You have several address.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you.
It didn't work yet. It just did that.
No, yeah, saying because the failed credentials. The password.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, won't work.
Might have gotten okay. For some reason, the command didn't work. The command didn't work. Did you guys?
That's fine.
It might not work. But listen, it might work, I'll tell you why. Because you didn't understand this, so probably using a ball plug pass, which is size 16 inches. So it might work. It couldn't contact your DC. Double check the DC. Yeah, make sure you see that. The other thing is, if you have to manually do it, manually rename it. Yeah, you can just graphically rename it. That's about time. Because now it's not seeing System restore. Okay. What's that? This is the worst case scenario, that's still good.
No, yeah, but you put his, no, I didn't. Because I put his and I switched to mine and it didn't work. Yeah, my error was that.
I don't know, it's saying build a joint domains, but the server's clocked, it's synchronized.
Let's just boot up.
Yeah, I can look, DHCP1 and time orders and
Guys, I'm gonna run this and I'll bring it back up after reboots. Everyone, okay, Megan, before you do this, you wanna take a picture? Can you,
Oh, no, I'm good. I was just double checking.
anyone else wanna take a picture?
Is it supposed to get us higher?
No.
is the one exactly that was that one, yes, AM, okay, 6:20.
He's double checked your DC, make sure you have it. He's gotten the same thing, I think it's just a timing issue. I guess going across the, going to the domain and changing the host name didn't work. Well, listen.
Something matters.
Hmm?
But in your show.
Maybe
Type it in that. You need to restart.
I did this wrong. You know, if you have to manually join it to, manually change your host name, we'll do it once we get it. Okay. How many people have been in my classes before? So what do I say about me making mistakes up here?
It's our opportunity to fix.
It's the best if we are paying attention.
And then back to 6:29.
In 2016, you get this period of where your machine, just your clock jumps time zones. Reboot your real machine.
You're going to complete the DHCP configuration using the command line.
Yes, no, it's not gonna be as bad as you think, because listen, with DHCP, if you configure one server, you can just automatically copy it to the other server.
Nice.
So what we're doing is, we need to configure the IP settings, we need to, authorize the server. I'll go over it, but no, if you do it right, the two DHCP servers should exchange data. So that was it. Because two people have that. I should rename it before I join it.
We're just
So you're back at it.
Is this new name supposed to be here? Domain name?
But like, of course, you gotta know the command, that's the meter default.
Yeah, you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
The question is, I feel like
I just put it in the wrong one. Okay, and it's not composed, so.
Take out this round, this round. I think that's
You gotta copy it.
That's the main. No, you already ran it once?
Where does it, where's the problem?
No, just sign in. So, guys, it's important that you sign in as a domain admin, not the local admin. do it the same password.
It could be that your other scripts before, maybe. Oh, I think I can press it real quick.
Other user, good.
Yeah.
Control backslash administrator.
Replay that whole thing. Copy or save that.
For those people whose name didn't stick, go to local server after you sign in as domain admin and change it right here. Click that, then change, then reboot.
Oh, this is good. Other user. Yeah, but I didn't do other users.
Because it's already set your IP. So you're trying to set it a second time. So when you boot up, just verify that your IP is stuck.
You have to do it on this machine. Then click the top. Sign in here. On it. Joseph
Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna log out and show you.
Bless him.
Look, it says Contoso here, right? What happens when I type? So when you type the word administrator, it assumes the local admin. Even though it said domain, the domain name there initially, it'll change it back to local. So the only account that you need to specify the domain with is an admin account. All others will assume the domain, the admin account will assume the local. What if you had some really archaic computer name and you don't remember it and you want to install, sign into the local machine, not the domain? Backslash will sign you into the local computer without having to remember the local computer's name. And that comes in handy because you'll be working on a lot of different desktops. And you won't know the name of all of them. So, last time we installed DHCP graphically. This time we installed it using PowerShell. So we still have to complete the DHCP configuration. Again, you have to be signed in as a domain admin. No, because there's nothing. You could do this with PowerShell, and I'll do it later. But the reason being is there's not much to do because we've already done it all one.
So am I in the right place?
So I'm going to launch. Dorothy, did you get an answer?
I was wondering if I was in the right place, but I hit I clicked that on one, I never did.
Okay, click next. And as long as it says Contoso / administrator here, you're good. Click commit.
Mine doesn't say those of that.
So you need to sign out and sign back in as that user.
That's cancel. Go back in there.
Are you doing that here?
It looks like you.
Not when you know, If it's grayed out, that means you're not signed in. That's the right one.
If it's grayed out, you're signed in as the wrong person.
If it has it as Contoso, it's grayed out.
You're the wrong person.
Copy that over.
Just sign out and sign in.
That's what I was trying to copy and do it, but I couldn't do it.
Okay, guys, give me 1 second. I gotta do something.
You want me to keep that other thing open? I go.
No, that's good, man. That's just
Okay.
open.
Alright. I signed in as the Contoso administrator, but it's still grayed out. So I thought it was the first time.
Do me a favor. Specify. Contoso / administrator.
I mean, like, I just, yeah, I put it on my notes in my room, I think. Right there, I mean, if you wanna, like, write it in your notes. I'm not gonna send it to you. Yeah, let me see what I can do. No, I can send you your notes. You probably just drag it, email onto you, I mean, I was gonna take it here, but I really didn't. So that's why I just gonna really go on. You curate it, and that's how you do
For some reason, your DHCP server can't start up. And can't authorize it to us. If this doesn't work, service. Are you here? What's your name? Dorothy, is anyone sitting there?
No.
Okay, what about any of these chairs?
Normally there's two people on the end, but no one has ever sat here.
Okay, David, what about, is there someone there?
No.
Okay, sit there. He just got added to the class. You've only had Network Plus. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a culture shock. So help him get. Thank you. Dorothy, here's the commands.
Even sign, student, get it, but not, like, you could always do that.
Yes.
Just not use them.
I hear Dorothy, I have the commands up here.
No. I'm confused about where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, let me check. Maybe you got a picture of that. What you do.
That's
Yeah, I
okay,
don't
because she
know
has
what
a
that's
right.
going. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Should be still.
Open up that PowerShell, and then you ran these commands on your real machine, not on the virtual machine. So you have DHCP installed on your real machine.
Oh, is it does
And then extra is it on GULEJ3?
I'm just waiting for someone to type this.
So JULUJ3@mail.broward.edu. That's weird. No, it's weird as in like it doesn't like show up. Like I don't know why it says it in note. No, whatever. I'll see if it. No big deal. He's got that. Still getting there.
Because we don't have something turned on that kind of messes up the concept. So the default behavior is don't allow you to copy between machines.
What's the reference? What's the reference?
Yeah.
622541.
That goes in the second. You don't need to speak. The dash wires.
Space. FARS, all colors. Okay, and then session 2. Okay. Reboot twice, and you're going to be reboot twice. You're going to keep choosing that boot option. Click connect.
The original script is DNS service, right? But if you create a DNS service, you're not supposed to
I know that you click that, yes.
DHCP will run.
Okay, that's good. Maximize that screen. That's right. The guy, Akbar, I sent him an email and you an email, but I believe he's out of town, so it might be a couple days.
Okay. Thanks.
That's basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Space Astro.
One more command, guys, and then we'll do government jobs called system analysis, and everyone else calls it a network admin. Just the title of a job. Every government job loves to call this job systems analysis. I don't know why.
TSA.
Yeah.
Makes it sound cooler.
No, I think it's on some job title, occupational list somewhere. It's a network admin. No, it's not the case. A network admin could be a Microsoft guy or a Cisco guy. Systems analysis could be a Cisco guy or a Microsoft guy. It's just the job title that the government gives for a network admin is systems analysis. Okay, now guys, I'm going to log out as my local admin, sign back in to the domain admin. Now I'm going to connect to DHCP1. Guys, we already have one DHCP configured with all the data that we need. If you configure the two DHCP servers independently, they could both potentially pass out the same IP address and cause a conflict. So what you want to do is configure one, then configure some sort of failover. So what we're going to do is I need to show you something else. Before we actually move there, I want to show you one other thing. I forgot about super scopes. Let's say I had a network 192.168.0.0/24. This was a .1, and I had a whole bunch of computers in this network. How many bits are how many host bits are there here? So, 2 to the 8 minus 2 equals 254 usable IP addresses. So let's just say that the company expanded dramatically and we now need 400 addresses. I have two choices. I can move up to a class B and redesign my entire IP scheme, or I can just add some an additional subnet to the existing network. So right now, if I had DHCP on this machine, on this network, and let's just say the IP address was 192.168.0.15. And I had a client here on the network that did a broadcast for an IP address. So let's go and create some fake subnets in DHCP.
So you're going to change the subnet mask?
No, I'll show you. So let's say we're going to create our existing network. Fake 1. And that,
We are supposed to do that?
yep. I'm creating a new scope. The name is Fake 1. The description is 192.168.0.0/24. Click next. The range of usable IPs are 192.168.0.1, and the ending address is 192.168.0.254. /24, you're right, Orlando. Who sent me the email about the internship? They couldn't do it during the day? Oh, okay. We can work with you. We can find that term. I sent you an email too, read that.
Okay.
So, we have all kind of flexibility.
Fake one.
Can I click next?
Just a sec.
The CAM, then I'll go back to 656, then I'll go back to like an AM time. See? And it said like yesterday. Then go back to this time. I think yours is doing it too. It is doing it too. That's why I like kept looking over there because this distracted kept looking over there. I don't know, man. I looked at it, doing that. Which is weird because it's like a virtual machine, so I don't understand why they'd be doing that. Maybe if like a gathering or something like that, or the scene launch or whatever, doesn't it? The time change. I don't remember.
Good. Just do me a favor. Restart. That restart has a computer right there. Hyphen computer. All in one. The reason it was giving you that error was saying you succeeded all right. Somewhere above there, it worked.
Okay.
So you just need to reboot and sign into the domain admin and you're good. So I'm gonna click next, and we're gonna exclude, say, the first 10. This is not a real production network, so we're just playing. The start range is 192.168.0.1, and the end range is 192.168.0.10. Then click add. We're going to leave it for 8 days. And our gateway is 192.168.0.1. For the domain name and DNS servers, just click next through all the way until you get to the end. And you have to hit refresh. Okay, guys, let's do our first break now, and then we'll come back. Are you raising your hand?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I did that for 9. So this was.
Alright, so yeah. The other two aren't that bad.
Well,
It's just that one. DNS servers and then the stuff, the information for your DNS servers, it's not that. But I did set up
No, it's. I don't know how you type anyways because of those
No,
nails.
when I take my nails off, I can't type.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
understand?
Hey, guys, if we had to do that, we'd be going like this. We'd be like a cat with bags around our paws.
I get it.
Those are backslash nails.
and I missed the first part of what you
I
did.
just.
Okay, I'm only doing this to demonstrate. This is not going to affect if you don't have it on there, so you really can miss anything. So at this point, when we come back to the I'm just going to continue explaining it. You're just going to follow along because these aren't that important. You know, we don't need this for a network. Listen, I knew this girl from Columbia. Very attractive woman. Wore a miniskirt like this. Would walk around with 4-inch heels. Would walk around putting computers under the desk, mounting them the whole 9 yards. And you can't really say to a woman, maybe low cut blouse. Maybe you shouldn't wear that to work. You can't say that. And I go, aren't you uncomfortable with those heels carrying a 30-pound computer? She goes, yeah. I said, well, why do you do it? She goes, because I look good. Hey, let's keep our priorities straight. You just leave it alone. So, when we talk about the nails, that's what it is.
I was the first one. They end up getting like this. I was supposed to do those in the case. This the IP settings for the loopback and the DC1, which we set up as a domain controller. With DNS properties selected and still coming up because I think that is because we did this using IP directory. So I think we're going to start doing this. Yeah. See, it doesn't work. I mean, you got some aspects, but it's a little bit more.
No, it's like the main thing.
The main thing.
You don't have any skills.
I didn't ask for
Okay, so yeah, I need to add it. That was for the DNN. That's supposed to be the rapper. Right there.
We did it wrong. Yes. Well, we didn't keep the servers from here, like, with their making controls. So we didn't actually. So we have to make the. Right.
Right. And the power source, that's another thing, but in the power source, the parent app, what is that? Is it just where the ISO is located? I was trying to, I was able to recreate the DC and the DNS at home, but I had to rewrite the script for it to run.
Because you're probably gonna have to, copy that parent disk and take it home. But we created a virtual machine.
Yeah.
We installed Windows on it. Then we prepped it to be duplicatable and shut the machine down. Then we deleted the machine and it left a disk. That's our parent disk. So it's a pre-provisioned hard disk.
With Windows already installed.
Right. Then what we do for every virtual machine that we're creating now, we're creating something called a differencing disk. So that becomes the C drive for server 1. This will become the C drive for server 2. This will become the C drive for server 3.
That's why, that's why I was confused, because it kept saying that it was a DHDX.
Right.
It was already a drive that,
Right, so there's no changes are made here. All changes are here. If the parent disk gets changed, these all crash.
I remember you saying it's kind of bad in there. But it's not on this computer, I'd have to wait till we get to the other classroom.
No, you can grab it.
Oh, the
PhD, parent, and grab V2 disk. That. How big is your drive?
16 gigs.
Okay. Is it NTFS or?
Yeah, so that's.
I think it's me together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Would you put that, what is that, a thumb drive from your computer or something, from your Android?
It's a card reader with a card.
Oh, okay. The card from your Android, because I can see it all.
Oh yeah, it was from old Android.
Yeah, that's true.
Never signed on this computer. I don't know if it's signed on the workstation. The only thing I can say is, when you do it at home, it'll be signed. Because we just don't have, I don't think we have. Yeah, so when you do it at home, you'll be fine. Do you make three with the shoes?
Yeah.
There was a script I saw someone wrote that checked the shoe
Yeah,
websites.
yeah, that's, people do that for a living, I literally saw that on
That's
When a shoe hits,
it. Yeah.
it buys it for them. High school kids make a lot of money doing that.
Wait, you can make a script to actually do that?
Yeah.
Well, there's you can download it.
Yeah.
You can download it now and
They're
discuss
bots,
it.
right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a
Bots
bot.
that buy them.
It's not just a bot.
Okay, so guys, we're going to create another one. We're going to highlight IPv4 and create a new scope. Oh, wait, sorry.
Second fake one?
No, go back.
Yeah, take two. You need to make sure you sign in as domain admin, not local admin.
A new ordinary scope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to show you what a super scope is than just tell you about it. So we're going to create a new scope. I'm going to call it Fake 2. IPv4. Do I need to read this out loud? Are we good? Okay. Okay, and the range of usable IPs is 1.1 through 1.254.
Then the first time,
We're going to exclude the first 10.
Why are we excluding the first time?
Because they could be used on a computer. Like, I'm using, let's say on my router 1.1, I don't want to pass it out to a client too. But the reason it's part of the scope, so we know that the scope is aware that that IP exists. 192.168.1.1. So 192.168.1.10, then click Add. Click Next. And when we get to the router field, just put 1.1 as the router. Dot 10. I'm listening, David. Do you need me?
Oh, yeah, sure. now. This one is
Okay, so the router is 1.1, and we're just leaving the rest as the defaults. Again, you have to refresh. I don't know why. So we have these two subnets. Now remember that we initially had 254 addresses. Now say we have 400 computers. We could redesign our entire subnet scheme, meaning go to all the existing servers and give them a new IP address, possibly in the 172 range. And that would give us 65,000 addresses. But let's say we didn't want to go to each server and reconfigure every server, the DHCP, the whole 9 yards. So what we can do is, well, let me ask you this. Right now, if this client wanted an IP address, where would he give an IP address? From this scope or this scope?
from the one that from the one that it's in.
Take one, right. It's going to give an IP from the scope in the same subnet as this IP, because that's where it heard the DHCP request. So what happens when it fills this up? When it uses all these IPs, will it then start grabbing from here? No, but if we create a new super scope, right click your IPv4, say new super scope, and we're going to call it fake.
What are you gonna give the fake one?
And we're going to choose both of these. Finish. So now the DHCP is aware that these are on the same LAN segment, same physical LAN. So the DHCP server will know if I hear it on this interface, I can give it an IP from here or here. It doesn't matter. Just by enclosing in a superscope, that makes the DHCP server aware that both of those subnets are on the same LAN segment. But here's what I need to do. I need to give this router 2 IPs on that interface.
Why?
Because I can't put my gateway, let's just say this computer got an IP of 192.168.1.126. It got an IP from the second subnet.
Those go together.
It can't reach 0.1 because that's in a different subnet. So I need to make my router in 2 different subnets. So let's say I had a web server here that was 192.168.0.100. So for this client to get to the web server, let me create another client. I'm going to create another client just to show you. I have one client here that has an IP address of 192.168.0.162. That's in the same subnet as my web server. So if this client wants to talk to the web server, it goes directly to the web server. But when this client wants to talk to the web server, it sees that it's in this different subnet. So if it's in a different subnet, who does it send the packet to?
Router.
Right. It puts in, this is the destination address, this is the source address, but at the layer 2 level, this will be the source address, the physical address. The layer 2 address will be this. The layer 2 address destination will be this router. So it's going to send the packet to the router, because it has an IP address of 192.168.1.1. Then that router is going to route it back out the other subnet in the same physical segment to the web server.
So it becomes the source.
Right. sometimes you'll see that term is router on a stick. Because I have two subnets off of one LAN segment. So I'm going to send it to the router is going to route it out the same interface to the new IP. And this will allow you, when you've exhausted your range of IP addresses for one subnet, without having to redesign your entire network, to add IP addresses relatively simply.
So we're not gonna use two ports. We're gonna use one port and assign two IPs.
Right.
Professor,
Can we assign multiple IP addresses to one interface? I'm going to go here. I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to remove this when I'm done. You don't need to do it. I click Advance, Add, 192.168.0.1.
Yeah, I think it's the one that you have.
Add, 192.168.1.1. So I can add as many IPs as I want. Let me show you. When I do an IP config, how many IPs does that one interface have? 1, 2, 3. So you can assign as many IPs as you want to an interface. In the Cisco world, we call that a virtual interface.
Professor, what is the advantage of this initiative of using Superscope instead of just forcing the renewal of leases and just changing the subnet of the entire scope so you can have more IPs available?
Because at that point you're crossing the bounds of a classful address. You're joining the default subnet mask for this class C address is 24, meaning the first 24 bits shouldn't be changed. By removing this subnet mask to /16, you're changing their first 24 bits. Also at that point, I would then still have to go around to all my servers, rename all reassign all the subnet masks. Well, if I was going to do that, I might as well go with a class B address that has more addresses.
Okay.
You know, you're trying to save work. You know, this is the quickest solution without going to all your servers. If I needed a lot more addresses, I might go through and redesign the network. But in this particular case, I can handle by doing a Superscope. Is it the best solution? No. But it's in the curriculum. It's there, and I want to show you what it is. You're going to come across it, and then you at least need to be aware of it. Okay, so guys, I'm going to go back to my DHCP server. I'm just going to delete that Superscope and the two fake scopes. Delete fake 1 and fake 2 as well. Guys, and we can also delete private 2. We really don't need it.
Can you just delete the Superscope?
Delete the Superscope and delete fake 1 and fake 2.
Once you delete fake one and fake two, the Superscope is on.
Yeah. So guys, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to copy this data from this DHCP server to our other one. I'm going to right-click here, do Manage Authorized Servers. This will only work if I have two servers that are authorized.
So where did you do that from? I missed that.
No problem. I clicked on the DHCP, the word itself, and then clicked on Manage Authorized Servers.
Got it.
And because I have two servers, certain things light up. If I only had one, I wouldn't be able to do this. But if I right-click IPv4, I now have these available to me. You can't do failover if you only have one.
Nothing populates.
So I'm going to configure failover.
Should we vote?
Yeah.
I only have one.
Yeah.
I had to hit refresh for mine.
Okay.
For my second one to come up.
I had to add mine.
Oh, yeah, just refresh it.
So manage authorized servers, I only have one.
Okay, so listen, highlight this and hit refresh.
Do what? Highlight?
That and click refresh.
You can just press authorized.
Is there a refresh in the manager as well? I had one, I hit refresh in the manager in the second one.
Yeah, if I click it, it's going back in.
So
you're right.
Oh.
Maybe it's like earlier when you activate
What are
it.
the ends? My number.
Yeah.
You're update over. So you have
He was having like issues with the earlier, so.
No, I think it's cool because when I add my
Just, it doesn't matter, it's, as long as I have two.
Maybe just take notes. Alright, did you get it?
Type your station number and hyphen DTP2. Click OK, OK, and let it reboot. I have one and I click refresh on it. Okay, so authorize. Type in the 172.16.0.4.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. Authorize again. 172.16.0.1. Authorize them. Click OK. Click OK. Close. Right, close to start menu. Shut down. Restart.
Has anyone seen IT staff?
Try to restart.
Are we adding both of those?
What is?
It's like the VM or an actual machine?
You say mine is not deployed or?
Yeah.
I'm gonna see the disk too. This is not deployed.
Okay, so, try to reboot this machine. Click Control Cell.
Okay, so if I didn't press the button.
Backside.
Oh, he didn't do that yet. Okay. I think he actually.
Administrator. Okay.
The account already exists.
Guys, in real life, networks are not supposed to be shut down every single night. So what we're doing is, by shutting down, is we have this save state, because we're saving our state, and when we reboot, our Kerberos tickets are stale. So by rebooting, we're renewing our Kerberos tickets, and this all occurs because we're shutting down at night. It's saving the state.
Yeah, I don't know if you like wipe it from like the virtual machine to your real machine. You know what I mean?
Go to tools. Sorry, okay, yep. Go to DHCP one. Try to refresh. No, the other side.
So guys, once you're done, you're gonna close that box. And we're now gonna have this new, if we highlight IPv4, this configure failover. If you don't have two authorized servers, it's not gonna show up.
Oh, I deleted private too.
So we're supposed to add the second one?
He said he could do it again, but whatever.
You click OK. Just close that out.
Yeah.
That's where it goes. Now you're good. Yeah, something like that.
I might just buy have 3 monitors and
Okay, you
I'll do this all day remoting.
Both of them? Not right? Now I can go to yeah, I still have this one. It's yeah, just one from each.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna configure failover.
Hang on. We're in DHCP1?
Right. Highlight IPv4. We're gonna click on configure failover. Okay, now what it's asking is, which subnet do you want to share with another DHCP server? And right now we only have one subnet. If we had multiple subnets, we can share them all. Click next, and it's asking, who's your other server? Just click add, and choose your other server. It's saying, who do you want to share these settings with?
Oh, hang on just a second. And now
Shoot, this authorized and then you choose this one, the second one.
It's not named right. Where do I go to change the names? What does it say? CS.
Just change the name.
I don't know, it's just like their job. You seem like what they require. Yeah, they're like, their certification we can get you. That's what they prefer this to go. And that's the degree for a long time.
It's already changed, it just hasn't been refreshed.
But I gotta get all my CompTIA stuff first.
So you gotta have all of them.
You don't have to have all of them, but I want to get the CompTIA stuff out of the way before I rather take the Microsoft stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to DNS on the DC.
It's the number 2. Because you're in the one, and you need to
I'll
authorize
go to DNS.
the other 2.
Go
The
to
other 2
DNS.
is going to benefit the configuration of the number 1. So you pick number 2. Yeah, I'm without my glasses. This is the 2. Yeah, that's it.
And I'm gonna go to Contoso.com. Expand for lookup. Contoso. Do we have a record for the ATP2? Okay, so right click. New host. Type in the name. CS14. And put in the IP, check the top box. Top 5.
Yeah, last time.
That's available. 172. 16. I checked the bottom. The top one. Okay, good. Now go back. No, you don't even need to refresh. Go back to the yes. Click done. Now those people that had that problem, I'll come to you, Sebastian. On your DHCP1,
Gotta create a new error.
I want you to do ipconfig / DNS. Then NSLOOKUP CS14 as an example, DHCP2.contoso. If you're not having a problem, you're not doing this. If you're not having a problem, you're not doing this.
We are. Do I just create a new A record?
Correct. Go to create an A record, come back to DHCP1, and then do it.
Do I need a point record as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to DHCP1 and read it.
If it's able to resolve it.
Yeah. If it's able to resolve, I don't have that, of course, because mine's a different naming scheme. Then try again.
Yeah,
If it can't resolve names, you're missing a record. Now listen, you could have just restarted the DHCP2, but that's more time than just adding the host record.
Go back to the comment form.
You only needed to do that if you were in the right phone. I just want to explain something else. What was this? What does that command do?
So it is,
The cache.
Right. Do you remember when we were talking about host records and we were telling they had a time to live? Well, that's how long you're telling people to keep it in their memory. So when you resolve an IP, a name to an IP once, if the time to live is 1 hour, you're going to keep it cached in memory for 1 hour. What I'm doing here is deleting my cache. Because not only do you cache good data, you can cache bad data. So right now in your memory you cache and you don't know how to resolve that name. You keep that in the system. By doing this, we're flushing the DNS. If you wanted to look at your cache, I could do ipconfig display DNS. I just cleared it so there's nothing in there.
So what are some scenarios that would require you to flush it?
You resolved the name that you know that it failed to resolve, and you know what the issue was. You fix the issue, and at that point, it's still in memory on that other machine that you couldn't resolve it. That's a case where you, wanna clear your cache. Something was messed up with your DNS server, you fixed it, now you have to clear out the old data.
Right. Professor, I've done this and it still says unable to resolve.
Okay, open here, let's look at the thing. Okay, and do NS lookup. Space, verification number is. Hyphen. GHC number two.
To be clear, that flush one, he put it up to display the
So, type ping, let's try to force ping CS0 on DHCP. Type in the full qualified names, hyphen DHCP2 dot, because that's not front end DHCP2. Okay. Clear your cache. Do R space dash D space last one and two. Everybody have to go. Okay, good. Now try to ping it again.
It says if you did it, go here, or now it says unable to resolve.
Okay, we cleared, in your case, your cache of, DNS resolution, and we also cleared your ARP table. When you do NS lookup with a short name, what you're doing is in that file is broadcast. You're not really resolving using DNS. So always try to force it to use the DNS name. Okay, listen, Dorothy,
Yes?
can you click next here? Back at configure failover. Can you get to the screen?
Cannot.
That's it for but yeah, essentially. I mean, like, you can down to specific.
So we're just gonna try this.
And you can keep like, you're using it for a certain amount of time. Forgot how many. It's a lot cheaper. You can cut the price of like what you can grab on space by a lot. And then like, Jeff, huh? Nah. I'm just interested. I think and then there's like there's the news or. This is just basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, David just had that.
It does like the
When
same
you
way.
rebooted, everything was good
With
with the time flipping. After a while, it settles itself
Yeah, like so
down.
many
I don't have an explanation.
Okay.
We never had that in 2012. In 2016, when we rolled it out, randomly computers will switch 1 hour every 10 seconds.
So it's a glitch, okay, got it.
Okay, so you know what I did? You know how I solved it?
How?
I watched the time. When it was the right time, that's when I clicked next.
Workaround.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, I could do something like hold one server in reserve, or I can do load balance. Have both servers respond to requests. If I do one in reserve, one server sits dormant, doesn't do anything until the other one goes down. But by configuring load balance, the DHCP servers talk to one another. So when one computer gives an IP address out, it will inform the other computer so it knows what's going on. So load balance is why have a CPU running if you're not going to use it? Might as well do the load balancing. So what we're going to do is we're going to have each machine handle 50% of the load. I'm going to uncheck this box, but in real life, I might want to have a shared password so we only load balance with a server we know about. So I'm just unchecking this box. So basically, these two machines are going to share data. It'll copy everything over to the other machine, and each machine will do 50% of the load.
Professor, you presented two options for this configuration, but the first one was not just equal the DHCP relay trick that you showed us last class?
No, this is not doing the relay at all. If I had a relay in this picture, I would have to point to both of these servers. But basically, all I'm really doing is sharing the load of the DHCP server.
Let me change the question. Like the DHCP relay check box that we have give us the option to have another one that is like not working until the other one is down, right? And here we can have the same thing if you want to.
Okay,
right?
I'm gonna press cancel. I don't want to go too much into this because it is a relatively beginning class. But if I had this scenario, with a DHCP here and a DHCP here, these machines, when they request an IP, it'll go here, right? It'll get to this one. When these machines request an IP, they'll go here. What happens when your DHCP goes down? Computers don't get on the internet, you're dead in the water. So if this computer goes down, I'm going to have my relay agent, which I've configured on this interface, to send requests over here. So if this goes down, these two machines will then be sent over here to get an IP. I would have a relay agent on here, so if this one goes down, I would send it over here for an IP. So this DHCP server needs to have IP addresses appropriate for this subnet and this subnet. And this one needs to have IP appropriate for this subnet and this subnet. So what I would do is, I would split the scope. In the past, we called that the 75-25 rule. Now it's 50-50. So I would, using the past example, I would control 75% of my IP addresses for my subnet. Then I'll let this machine control 25% of those IPs. Meaning he'll pass out 25% and I'll pass out 75. And for me, I'm going to pass out 75 of my IPs and get 25% of my IPs over to this machine. They're in different subnets. That's why you would choose to split scope over what we're doing. In the case we're doing right now,
they're in the same subnet.
Right. We don't need a relay agent. They're not passing out multiple subnets. It's only one subnet for, right. In this split scope scenario, once you split the scopes, they don't talk to one another. There's no sort of communication as to, I passed out this IP. Even if I were in this type of scenario, I would still go with this method. But I put both my DHCP servers here. Have them share the load for all my subnets. And then just forward, have all the relay agents on other subnets forward to those two IPs. This is a better solution. If this DHCP server goes down, this one will be aware of it. If this DHCP server goes down in a split scope scenario, this is never aware of it. So there's communication here. This is true failover. This is you're hoping failover happens. Okay.
Thank you.
You know, when this client requests an IP, who's going to respond? This one? Then a couple seconds later, this one will respond. If this one is down, this one, it'll only hear this one. In this scenario, if a client requests an IP address, only one of them will respond. This is just generating a lot of broadcast traffic that doesn't need to exist and could have a negative impact on performance on your network. Okay, so I'm not going to do the split scope. I didn't really want to cover that yet. We're going to do that in a later class. So I'm going to go configure failover. Next. So I'm going to do it 50-50. I'm not going to have any authentication module, authentication message. Then click finish. Now listen, in that split scenario, that's 2 DHCP servers I have to maintain. In the failover, if I make a change here, it gets copied over here. I don't have to manually go over and do stuff like that. So let's go over to DHCP 2. Let's verify that all settings are over there. And all the settings are there. If I want, I can reconcile between the two. I could force replication. I could view the replication. It takes a minute to view. It really makes administrating DHCP infrastructure a lot easier. We did everything on one machine. I don't care which machine if we make a change here, it's going to get replicated the other way. If we make a change on that end, it'll get replicated to here. If I make a lease on one machine, both machines will be aware of the lease. Okay, guys, let's take our second break. When we come back, we're going to configure an IPAM. We're going to set up the IPAM server, but not actually go through IPAM itself. And then I'm going to let you go. It's, a 4-day weekend for some of you. I'm going to go up. Dorothy, go take a break. You left it, you left the default of 50-50, and you unchecked the replication message? I would reboot this machine. It's saying there's some replication. I don't know what the errors are. Yes, yes, you're having some issues. I would reboot everything. No, yeah, but not for right now. But
Okay.
that's how I would solve it. At no point in time can you murder me. Because I can see it in your face. Listen, all we have to do is restart this. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just glitched. Okay. Everything is fine. It's just... So go back here. paperwork here, everything is fine, just give it some time.
There might be some P2 red restarted it, but
Restart the listen. We're going to shut down both DHCP servers, shut down both DCs,
and then
bring up the two DCs, let them fully come up, then boot the DHCP. Yeah, he's having the same
That's the
thing.
same thing.
Yeah. The issue is related to booting. We don't need that for right now.
Related to what?
Related to when we shut down the machine at night and brought it back up, all the control sticks will stay. Here's how I would solve this. It probably will solve it. Shut down both DHCPs.
Yeah.
When they're fully down, shut down both DCs. Bring up DC1, let it fully come up. Bring up DC2, let it fully come up. Once both of those are up, and you have the phrase is let it sit and bake for a little bit, then boot up DHCP 1 and 2. Okay. Yeah, it's random. You know, it's all related to the hibernation.
Everyone felt that.
You like that? Frankie's just cares more. Yeah, to give you the stance. Just so everybody's there.
Yeah, I guess so. It's good. It's really
We should be on PowerShell for which one? The HCP 1 or 2?
The real machine.
Huh?
The real machine.
The real machine.
No. No, it's all automated. It's a guy downtown. A guy in
Guys, I'm running this selected. Highlight everything, press F8. Creating a new differencing disk, creating a VM, putting that differencing disk in. I'm setting the memory to dynamic, and then I'm starting it. David, I'll save this script for you. So in your machine, you can just run. Now I'm going to mix things up a little bit. Guys, I'm gonna do, you just stick to that, I'm gonna do something else. Get.
What is that symbol of the script block? It's bracket?
It's squirrely bracket.
Oh, okay.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what it's called.
I don't have my glasses.
Wait. Guys, I can't run the second part until the first part is booted. So I can see that my IPM is booted by highlighting that, looking here. Once the IPM is booted, you can then run the second part. It's going to prompt you for the password twice. I'm going to let you get done typing and then I'll explain it.
Professor, I know it sounds stupid, but into the keyboard, how I don't have my glasses, how to get that symbol over there?
This one?
Yeah.
Right above the square, beside the P key. The P key.
Oh, okay.
first?
Yes. Then, when the machine is fully booted, meaning you have the desert scene on the thumbnail, then run lines 11 through 16. Anything in green doesn't run.
So I don't have to like log into iPads first, right? Before I run the second. Okay.
But when you go to your head, you're gonna wait until you see the desert.
You're eventually going to, it would be best to fix it.
You don't try to rerun that. It looks like you're trying to run it a second time. And you can't do it a second time because it already exists. Go here. It should be obvious. Okay, close that. Yeah, I see it too. So I didn't do it. It's working.
So you have to turn on so
What if you do what my script did? My script started.
Yeah, we're.
You need me to come back up?
So, where are we again? Number PA, what's the DLRD?
Where?
Here.
Yeah, this is a comment.
So once it's running, we run the second one, huh?
Then the first one. Go here.
I have the machines in my
Highlight the first one. Once that's approved, then run the second
And then just select this one, right? Yeah, thank you guys.
Get to DC. There. It's too late to drop. So you're stuck. I tried to talk to you, I told you before you called me what it was going to be like. He's I'm a bright guy. You might be a bright guy, but it's a big deal. But, so you're good. You're not going to understand that control and stuff. I don't care if the DHCP servers, actually I have the scope, it's an E1. For the next line. Okay?
This is the word in English language.
For the first time, no. Second time, yes.
I have a lot of, friends there, they learn English since they're kids. And they say, oh, you did a good job.
Right here.
Like, wait a minute, I live here. I'm not supposed to do a good job.
Guys, as soon as I explain this, your 4-day weekend can start. As soon as I can explain this, your 4-day weekend will start. Okay, let me, guys, remember when we ran Enter PS session?
Yes.
That remotely connected me to a machine. But when you enter it, there's kind of like a delay. So you really can't script Enter PS session. Because it enters the session, at that point you're connected remotely, it runs the commands. But what this is kind of like PS session, but it's saying anything between that bracket and that bracket, run on that virtual machine. So it's PowerShell Direct. We didn't have this until 2016. So basically I'm saying connect to the IPAM server, provide credentials. What does this command right here do? I'm saying it's a double execution. I'm saying execute that command before you execute the outer command. What does get credentials do? It throws up that dialog box and populates the first field with administrator. That's all it does. Pops up a box. I can show you later how to build authentication objects, so we don't have to prompt you for the password. So this is basically going to get credentials, you're going to type in the password, and then it's going to run these 4 commands on the virtual machine called IPAM.
Is it possible to also put inside that, like where you put the get credentials, to also make it fill in the password?
We can. It's not. I'm not going to do it in that way. But what I'm going to do it is in a different way. I'll show you how to create a credential object.
Okay.
So basically, this is the same thing as running this on the real machine to create the VM, and running this on the virtual machine to join it to the main. Guys, this command does what? Right, but what if you don't remember the name of the package to install? Get hyphen Windows feature IPAM asterisk. Try to remember part of the command. Hit enter. There's the name I need to install. So not only did I want to install this, but I wanted to install this as well. So I said, install the management tools, plus install all the sub-features. Meaning, install this, and see how this is indented? That's a sub-feature. So I installed both. Okay? Once you're done with this, you're free to go. Once everything is done and your IPAM is booted up, if you click on the networking, you can see it has the right IP. Shut down the real machine, you're free to go. I'm going to stop recording.